Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Red Bra Project. We are here at episode number 40, yay, with an amazing guest we cannot wait to introduce you to. And tonight's another Red Bra First. We like those around here. We actually have a co-host coming in tonight for Shauna, and she was one of our previous guests. Lindsay, how you doing, girl?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. I feel so honored to be the first co-host.
I know. We're so excited to have you, and I know it's just going to be a great episode. And we were just talking before we hit the record button, the go live button, but we are covering the United States tonight. So I'm coming to you from Maine. Lindsay, you're
near San Francisco.
Yes, and our incredible guest, Tanci Maree, tonight is coming to us from Detroit, Michigan. What's up, girl? So I have so much to say and talk about. Lindsay and I were just talking about all the cool things that you're doing out there, but I'm gonna pass you the mic, so to speak, so you can introduce yourself and give us a quick hello and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hi, I am Tanci, like Nancy with a T, and I'm so excited to be here. I feel honored that I was asked to talk about me. I used to be a middle school teacher and basketball coach, and I kind of just decided that I was super passionate about dance fitness and empowering women and growing, just seeing where I could take my passions and talents. And so I decided to just go for all the things. And so I'm kind of in the midst of that and figuring it out as I go, seriously. But I'm having, like, this has been the best ride ever. So yeah.
That is so good. Welcome. That is, I mean, you've gone really from one kind of career path, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do something different.
Yeah, but what's really crazy is I'm literally doing the same thing. Like I feel like everything I've been doing my whole life has still given me what I need to be doing, what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm still using the skills I learned as a teacher. I'm still using everything I developed from playing basketball and coaching basketball. Like, all of that has played into how I got to where I am.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
And did you have to, so when you made the transition over, were you like doing both things? Was it like a side hustle type of thing, or how'd you kind of move into it?
Yeah, so I wanted to lose weight. That was like how I got started in this new direction. I was a teacher and a coach, so therefore my whole day revolved around those kids. Like, I don't have kids, but I feel like I know what a mom goes through when they kind of lose themselves in providing to their kids. Like, I felt like I was doing that as a teacher and a coach, just kind of lost myself and stopped taking care of me and lost sight of things that set my soul on fire, and just kind of wanting them to chase their dreams and get them to where they wanted to go. And so because of that, I started to feel really icky about myself, like uncomfortable in my skin. And so I decided to do something about it, and it all started kind of online. And luckily I had the courage from the jump to kind of share my journey in figuring all of that out, like coming back to me through that journey and kind of practicing what I preach. Like, all right, I'm preaching to these kids that they need to chase their dreams and not let anybody stop them. And it's time that I take my own advice and show them as an example, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Gives me
and so yeah, it was like a side hustle for 2.5 years, really. So I would like teach, I'd coach, and I'd come home and I'd work and make sure I was doing all the extra stuff.
Wow, that's amazing.
It gives me complete goosebumps about how you had to practice what you preach. And so, you know, it's one of those kind of aha moments that you look at yourself and you're like, all right, I talk to my kids about it. I talk to the people that surround me all the time. I feel comfortable. I know I'm unhappy. I know I need to make the change. And that can be the hardest thing.
Right.
Well, and sharing it with everyone else, it just takes that is a huge struggle to push through that. So how did you, I mean, so you shared all of like your weight loss journey and all of that. Is that how you kind of developed your following and stuff, or have they been with you kind of the whole way?
There are definitely people who have been with me for a really long time. Like and I think my weight loss journey is just a small piece of it, but like I was doing dance fitness on the side the whole time too. And so I shared my progression with that as along, like I just started sharing my journey, like every aspect of it. At that time I had to be a little bit, like I wasn't twerking upside down like I am now because I was a teacher, and I was like, yo, if my students do that,
yeah, that's not a lesson that we're going to talk about in school.
Right.
I'm sure you would have gotten some notes from some parents maybe.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, I don't know that I had the courage to share that part of me at that time. Like I have built up to the courage to be like, I'm just going to be silly and stupid right now. And what's funny is, and we can go over this later, like that is it. I feel like that's an empowering piece of my brand by just not caring and being silly. But going back to your question, which was, how did I grow my following? So I started like a YouTube channel for dance fitness, and I would just share my choreography that I would put to a song. And like, I've been consistent with that for a while, for years. And so that played into growing my following too. But I feel like in the past couple of years, like, I feel like my following has grown with how I've grown, like, truthfully. Like, in the past year or two, have made a huge transformation in myself. And that's when things started to happen with my business. I've been putting the work in for a while. It's just started to pay off now that I've started to transform myself too. So
that is just so supportive and just reassuring to hear for anybody who, one, is like, okay, I know that I thought this was right for me, but I'm kind of feeling an itch to go somewhere else. But to hear you say you had all of the skills that you needed and it was right there, and it just took the courage to take the leap and go a different direction. But you know, some people can look at, oh, there's so many followers, there's such a great, following or support group, or you're doing all of this, I just want to leap right there and I want to do it. But it's so funny, but like the journey and the struggle is all part of how you get to be there, to be able to kind of appreciate all of that and be that person.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's been like, I think people would look at where I'm at now and be like, wow, 1 year, you like, things have grown tremendously in this past year. But I'm like, yeah, but there's been a lot of years that went into this year, and you never know when your year is going to be. But everything, every little thing, even the things that aren't working out, even the things that you don't think matter, like, you're going to be like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. It all comes together.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So what is, I know that you've dealt through fear and walked through fear. And I know that you've probably had those moments where you didn't know where it felt like your time would come. And I know we're going to talk about this later, but you have a lot of big firsts coming up, and we're so excited to share what's coming up on your calendar soon. But how did you kind of work through those moments where you're like, I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be? Or did you ever have that? Or did you just trust your gut? How did that work for you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I feel like I still have it every single day. Like I'm probably more scared than ever. It just, like, the more you do, the more you're like, holy, I don't know, like, holy, bleh. I can't believe I'm doing this.
You can let it go.
I want to throw up like every single day, but it's like in the best way possible. But
I love that. I want to throw up, but in the best way possible.
Like, just picture like throwing up sparkles or something. That's how I do it.
I like that.
Horns or whatever. So I think I thought about this before. I preach this all the time, but whenever I get scared, I feel like it's a selfish feeling. And I I tell that to people. I'm like, you're scared to get on stage and pursue your passion. You're scared to put your story out there. Do you understand like how selfish you're being? Someone out there needs to hear what you have to say right now. Like someone out there is waiting for you to step up and help them just by you sharing your story. Like, and so, or by you leaning into your fear, you're going to change a life, even if it's just one. And by you holding back because you're scared of what people will think of you, or you're scared of, you know, whatever, then you're being selfish. Like that's the conversation I have with myself. Every time I get scared, I'm like, this isn't about you. This is bigger than you. And, you know, that's like, I have to just constantly remind myself that it's going to impact somebody by me stopping to thinking outside of myself in that regard. I don't know if that made sense, but.
Totally. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, yeah, you have to have the courage to tell your story to help others. So I think that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking of a quote that you said, it keeps getting scarier. It's like they say, new level, new devil, right? It's just like, you're still scared, but it's maybe just on another level now. You're scared of something else. So you just keep overcoming, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, like I have had I have a great following that is literally like, hell yeah, girl. Like everything I do, like they cheer me on. And so, when you have people who are just like, go for it, like that helps your fear too. But I do think that like, if you're going to do the scariest of scary things, like it has to come from within. Like you can't depend on other people cheering you on for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing that you're so scared of so that we can start seeing what it is.
Okay. Where to begin? So I don't know where to begin. I'll start last year. So I've been teaching dance fitness for almost 10 years. And so last year I had been, you know, starting to grow a little bit more, and I had been adding in like HIIT, high intensity interval training, and like strength training into my workouts along with dance fitness, and really starting to see some like major results. My physical transformation, like mental, like different challenge. So people started asking, people who follow me were like, what are you doing? Da, da, da. And I was like, you know what? I will just offer this 30-day like transformation challenge, like, and I can provide workouts, and we could just do like a little thing, like a little 30-day thing. And I was like, yeah. And so I went on my story. I remember going on my story and being like, all right, so would anyone be interested in a 30-day thing where I provide you workouts and like coach you through them? And of course I was like, it'll cost $30. Oh, because I was turning 30. I was like, I'm turning 30, so I want to do something new. It'll be $30. The workouts will be 30 minutes long. And I had enough response, like not a ton, maybe like 20 people maybe, which
great.
Yeah, I was excited. And that said they would do it. And I was like, okay. So I collected money, put them in a Facebook group, and I was like, oh shit.
We're going to work out.
Now I got to figure out where I'm going to go with this. And so I think the biggest thing like that has made my online workout community what it has become is that I brought them along for that ride. Like I was transparent in like, listen, I'm going to give you everything I've got right now, and I'm going to show up, but this is going to be us figuring this out as we go. And because of that, not only were they, you know, understanding as we went through trial and error, but they felt a part of the growth. And so those people who are with me from the jump, like they're still with me because they are what this has become. Like they know that they have a part in that. And I think because I let them in on that has been a huge piece of my success. But anyways, so I did the 30-day thing, and I was like, well, you guys are still here. Like, you're liking the workouts. We're still doing this. Let's do another month. And added a few more people the next month, kept going next month. And I was like, dude, we're still growing. I think I need a website. I think I need this. And I just,
oh my gosh, I knew that. That's so cool.
Yeah. And it's just, so it just kind of all came together, and it's grown to this online workout community that I literally cannot even explain to you in words. Like, these women, like, you think of like a Facebook group with people in it who are doing workouts and posting their selfies, like that doesn't even come close to the family that we have created of women empowering women. And it's just a safe place for them to show up and be vulnerable. And I mean, these women, when they meet each other, they cry when they meet each other. And so that for me is, again, like, I feel like I'm doing the same thing. Like, I feel like I'm a teacher and I'm a coach, and I get to watch my girls or my team come together and bond and push each other to new limits, just in a different way. And so that has been really cool. And so that blew up into what has been known as the Turn Up Squad. And Turn Up Squad.
That's right.
So moving on from that into where I am now. So I feel like so much of what I'm doing is just like, it was inevitable. Like, it had to happen. So I'm now hosting a conference for the Turn Up Squad. Like, I'm hosting a conference, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Your first
on your
one,
website.
right? This is right before your first one.
What?
This is your first conference.
Ever. Yes. First conference ever. So what's crazy is, a year ago, I was on my story saying, guys, want to do a 30-day workout plan? And now, a year later, I'm freaking finalizing this conference. And yeah.
How
And
many people do you have signed up to come to it?
so we have about 250 subscribers to the website, and we probably have about 70 people from around the US coming to the conference.
Wow, that's
Girl,
amazing.
congratulations.
Yeah.
That is
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. So that has been a crazy ride in itself. And then just
Okay, so I'm gonna pause there for one second. So
Yeah.
was choosing to do the conference something that was kind of in the back of your head, or that kind of popped up as you went through your journey, or you were just kind of at that point where you're like, I need to meet these women like face to face? How did that come about?
So it was actually more of them saying, like, we want to come together, we want to meet each other, we want, like, how cool would it be? And we used to just like make jokes like, turn up retreat, it's gonna happen. And so I think because of their desire, the way they show up makes me show up. And so I really think it's because of them that I was like, I have to make this happen. So that, cause I mean, plus, like, I think our online workouts are amazing. And I mean, what's really cool is, like, it may be only 60 or 70 women, but these women's lives have changed because of the Turn Up Squad in the past year. So that is what is really cool. But where was I? Forgot what I was saying.
Through the conference, kind of how you got to, or you chose to go into this mode of doing an in-person conference.
Oh yeah, well, I was gonna say the online workouts are amazing and they're getting them results, but there's nothing that compares to like a live Turn Up workout, and I cannot wait for them to experience that. And all of us together, like, it's just gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be ridiculous.
I can only imagine the energy. Like, it's going to be crazy. Lucy does awesome workouts as well, and she'll do them at home. But
not like that. Let me tell you.
So like that whole mind over, like, you got to get your mindset right, and the workout is the only way. A good sweat session is the only way to get that working sometimes. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, and so yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just you have a true gift. I know that you are so grateful for your following and your Turn Up Squad, and just meeting all of these women, and the fact that you recognize how many have changed. And I mean, we've seen your videos and we've read and we've heard your followers talk to you kind of in comments and things, but one thing that you mentioned is how you empower other women, and you take us back to that playful state. Why can't we have fun? And it's a safe space. And I think those are really important. Can you share a little bit about that?
So I think it's really just my personality to be silly and like not take things too seriously, but at the same time, like I do take things seriously, but there's just like a balance there. And I think that as women, we get so wrapped up in how we're supposed to be now that we're grown, or now that I'm not moms. Like, I'm not a mom, but I watch these women, my friends, feel that they can't be a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, dance a certain way because they're a mom or because they're a business owner. And so I think that by just being unapologetically me, like not purposefully doing anything, but just by showing up as me and not being afraid to do that, or being afraid of doing it anyway, just in that empowers women. Like, I really don't think people realize that by just showing up, you're making an impact. Like, that's powerful right there. By just you sharing who you are, what you're trying to do, the ups and downs, like, you're going to impact somebody. And people don't realize that it's that simple. But it's simple, but it's hard for people to not care what people think. It's hard for people. It's sometimes, I think it's harder for people to figure out who they are than to just be it. They're like, they don't even know who they are behind who they've put themselves on to be for society. And so that is what the Turn Up Squad is. It's a safe place for them to explore who they are, because a lot of times I think the hardest part is figuring that out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just thinking about, I think my daughter's about to come in here, so sorry. But I was just thinking about actually writing a blog about start before you're ready.
Mommy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come down in just a minute, okay? Okay, I'll be right down. I was just thinking about, you're just such a good example of this whole idea of start before you're ready. Because you just, like, did all this stuff. You didn't have a website. You didn't have, like, I mean, maybe you had, like, coaches telling you, like, what, I don't even know, but, like, maybe you could speak to that just a little bit, like.
Heck yeah. Like, that is my middle name. Like, start before you're ready. And I preach that all the time. And same, like, I didn't talk about this yet, and we don't need to talk about it that much because I'm still figuring it out and I don't know what else to say, but I just launched the like instructor format where I'm going to take what I do and not only provide workouts, but now go around and host trainings to certify instructors to teach it in their area live. And so,
I could teach in Maine, and Lindsay could teach in her hometown in California, and
you can teach the turn up after
Can
getting.
you teach me how to, like, do the moves though? Because I don't think I've gotten that in me.
Well, see, that's the thing, and that goes back to starting before you're ready. Like, you just gotta do it and try it and see where you go from there. And, like, so I think people wait until they have what it takes. They think they're gonna wait till they have what it takes to be able to do the moves, or to be able to start the business, or to be able to fill in the blank, when really what they need to do is start. And as you go, you will develop what you need along the way, but you're not going to get that until you go for it.
Right. That's so true.
And people, yeah, like, I really believe that. And I think people hold themselves back waiting. And it's like, I didn't become the business, dance, fitness, whatever I am right now by waiting until I could twerk properly. Like, no, I just started doing it. And all of a sudden I'm like, you know?
I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
You talk a little bit about kind of, I know you have some favorite books, and one of them, The Universe Has Your Back, you're reading right now, which is interesting. I'm going to let you tell the story, but I've already heard a little bit of a parallel where you talked about, you know, a year ago, what you were doing and where you are now. I mean, that's got to feel incredible to you.
It's surreal. Like, it doesn't feel real. Sometimes I'm just like, is this my life? And then I puke again, the sparkles and
Sparkles, only sparkles, people.
But the story is so cool. Like, and so I had to tell it to make sure that it was cool before I shared it, because I'm like, am I making this up to be some mysterious universe thing, or is this like the real universe like talking to me? So just what is it, like a week or two ago, I was listening to The Universe Has Your Back, and I was getting ready, and I like washed my face, and as I was going around like doing things, she was talking, and she was like, okay, I want you to do this exercise. I want you to think of a sign that you're going to ask the universe for. Have you all read the book?
Yeah. I haven't read it, but I'm familiar with like some exercises like this. It's
for sure. Okay, so she was like, think of a sign you're going to ask the universe for. And she goes into like examples. She's like, it can be a number or a multitude of numbers, or it can be a song, or like she's going into details, or it can be a fragrance. And I'm like listening to her, and I'm like, and she's like, you have to choose one right now, a sign. And in my head, I'm like, I can't think of a sign that quick. Like, I remember being in my head, like, oh my gosh, like the pressure. And I was like, fine. I was like, and I'm all by myself, like having this conversation with myself. And I'm like, the smell of flowers. And after I make that decision, I'm like, that was a bad decision. Like, why did I choose smell of flowers? I'm never going to smell flowers. Gosh. And so I'm just like finishing getting ready, and I'm like, whatever. And she keeps talking, and she's like, the sign may come quickly. It may take a lot of time. It may take years. But you have to chalk it up to the universe now and ask them for that sign. And I'm like, all right, universe, like I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, it's up to you, blah, blah. And I'm not like, I believe in this stuff, but I need to be better at practicing this. So this is like outside of my comfort zone doing this. This is not something I do on the regular. And so I am now at this point, my face needs lotion. And so I couldn't pack my lotion on this trip that I was going on because it's too big, and I didn't want to, what do you do? Check my luggage.
Gotcha. I play charades a lot too, the way I talk. I got
so I didn't want to check my luggage, so I didn't bring my face lotion. And so normally I go for the hotel lotion, and I just use that for my face, but it wasn't there. So I like go around, I'm looking for lotion, and I go in my friend's bag, who I was staying with, but she was not there. And I grab her lotion. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it just said my internet wasn't stable. So I grab her lotion, and I go and I put it on, and I'm like looking in the mirror, and I'm like, and I like smell it, and I'm like, oh. And I turn around and I grab her lotion, and there are fucking flowers all over the lotion. Yeah. And I'm like, all by myself, I'm like,
can somebody tell me you're watching this, please?
Yeah, like, I'm like, wait a second, am I making this, like, you don't trust yourself that it's that, like,
what's it?
Is this, yeah. I'm like, what? So.
Can you send me another sign? Like, can you put a flower right here?
Yeah. So the whole thing is like a sign that you're heading in the right direction. Like that, I forgot to add that piece of it. You're asking for a sign that you're heading in the right direction. And I'm like, give me a sign that I'm heading in the right direction. Because I literally, and I hadn't launched I was like a few days away from launching the instructor thing. And so I was freaking out at that point. And so, yeah, I was like, this shit might be legit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go with it though, for even if it's not.
Oh my God.
I can totally relate to that. I feel like I'm always like, are you sure that's my sign? Like, why don't you send me another, like what you just said, send me another sign that was my sign, you know? And it's like, it could be written on a huge billboard, like, Lindsay, this is your sign. And I'd be like, no, I'm not sure.
I know, right? And they're just, the universe is just in your face.
But that is just so random. You didn't pack lotion. You turned around to your friend's suitcase. It happened to be the first thing you grabbed. And you're like, are you kidding me? There's flowers on this? Like, that's pretty in your
What's crazy is I didn't even notice it at first. Like, I went and I put it on, and then I stopped, and I was like, I'm going to go look at that lotion, because I don't know if this actually smells like flowers, but if there are flowers on this mother freaking lotion right now.
That is amazing. Oh my
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to have to read that book.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's worth a reread too, because I feel like you can go through different phases and different times, and you pull out different stuff and you can apply it. So
yeah.
I love your story and your transparency, and I think that you really you inspire people to take the leap and to do something uncomfortable. I mean, not everybody's comfortable dancing, and not let alone dancing, but in front of people, and like, you know, kind of getting comfortable with your body and some dance moves and stuff. And so to be able to do that, you know, you talk about how that spills into other areas of your life and confidence, and you feel better mentally, physically, everything like that. Who are some women that have empowered you, or people, you know, it could be men too, but who has empowered you along your journey? You want to give them, you know, a quick shout? Would love to hear who you can kind of talk about.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many women who I feel like have impacted my life, like on the daily. Women impact my life. Like I could go on and on, but the first person that comes to my head is my mom, just because she just has integrity with who she is, and is just just stays true to herself in everything she does, even when there are opportunities for her to make different decisions. Like, she stays true to herself, and she's taught me that through not telling me, but just showing me in everything she's done. And so like she was a single mom raising me, my sister and I, just us. And so I watched her turn struggle into magic. And so I think that watching her stay true to herself through the hardest of times, like, has allowed me to do the same. And I feel like that's a huge thing that I teach and I preach too, is like, your magic is not in the easy parts. Like, it's when you fall and you fail. What do you do after that? How do you come back from that? Like, that's where the magic happens. And my mom taught me that. And and then my sister is a huge, she's my younger sister, but she is way more grown up than I am. But she inspires me every day, her like determination, and she is one heck of an independent woman. And then, I mean, I've had coaches who have impacted me as like a basketball player and stuff, but and now my turn up squad and all the women in my life. So I could go on and on. And you guys, shoot, look at you doing the dang thing. Like, any women who are just doing it and showing up, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like you said, just show up before you know what in the world you're doing, because that's the only way to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. So I know this is so the Red Bra Project is about like taking that red bra, and no matter if it's on the outside, if you're very bold and extroverted or you're introverted, but it's always on underneath. It doesn't matter. You always have the confidence to push through crappy times and to rise up and kind of find that strength to do it. Do you have, I mean, we have them every day, but do you have one that comes to mind that you're like, yeah, this is my red bra moment, that I think this is when I really was like, yes, I'm going to do it?
That is such a hard question.
I know.
Answer that easily on here, because that's tough.
Yeah. So and that's kind of one of the things where we say, you know, it can be something, it can be big, it can be small, it can be what happened this week, it can be that it's this moment in time that you're like, you know what, I know when that sent me on this journey. So you can have many, but what's one you want to talk about?
Well, so that's what, that last piece of what set me on this journey is what grabbed me when looking at what the Red Bra Project was, and the fact of red. So when I went to college, I played college basketball, but outside of playing college basketball, like I had no idea who the hell I was, what I wanted to do. Like as a career, I changed my major like 75 times, and I was lost. I knew I loved basketball and that was it. And so I was in my 5th year of college and I was like, listen, I got to get out of here. I have got to go. And so I need a major that all these things apply to, like help me figure out. Ended up being humanities, which I was first in my class. Thank you very much. The only humanities major at my school. So there's that. Anyways, so I got to kind of make up my own senior project. And so I worked with one of my professors, and I produced the Vagina Monologues at my school. Have you heard of the Vagina Monologues? So what's crazy is I was at this Catholic small school, and they were all telling me no. They were telling me I can't do it. There were people like not rioting, but what is it where you have like
Picketing
things and like, oh, yeah, like doing that. And they're telling us no, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, no, we're gonna do this. And so, if you know the Vagina Monologues, it's about like owning being a woman and all the aspects of that. And I mean, I produced this play of all different kinds of women doing these monologues about their vaginas, and like I looking back, I'm like, I produced that, like I casted it, like, and it was sold out every night, and it continued after I left for the next couple of years. And I just think that that's like, again, doing the same thing I'm doing now, but that kind of like launched my journey into empowering women and being in charge of something that I thought was important and that people like that left a mark. And I at that time didn't, at that time I was just doing something that I thought would be impactful for my senior project. And we raised money, like we raised over $1,000 for the domestic violence shelter. Like I knew in that moment that something like that had to be my life. I didn't know what it looked like, but, and so we had these red, like there was a red backdrop and red boas we had, and it was red. Like, and so when you say the Red Bra Project, I'm like, that is my red moment,
Oh my gosh.
Good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I love the connection. It's another like sign from the universe, that you're just
so, like, you guys are making me realize these things too. Like I didn't think about that really too much, but this made me think about that.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, and you have to love the fact that sometimes when you look back on your own journey and you forget about things, you find things that give you evidence to be like, hell yeah, I can do this. On days when I can't do this, I'm going to write this down and remind myself I can do this, and here's why. So,
yeah, because looking back, it seems like, oh, yeah, I did that. But at the time, it was really hard. You have to remember what you went through to get where you are, because, that's a good reminder.
Yeah, so good. Tanci, it has been so awesome having you. I would love to hear about, if you can share with all of our viewers and everyone tuning in, where they can find out more about you, where they can go to either learn more about the Turn Up Squad, to join as kind of an athlete, or just somebody who wants to exercise, build up self-confidence, lose some weight, or be an instructor.
So my website is turnupwithtanci, TANCI.com. My Instagram is turnupwithtanci. And on my website, you can subscribe to our workouts and find our private community and just become a part of our family. And then literally I'm in the works right now of putting together like the instructor portal and all those great things. We have 7 cities that we're already hitting. We're working on 2 more before 2020 comes, and where we can, train instructors to bring the energy and the vibe to where they are and, do their thing. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm following you on Instagram now, but I need to do some more research on you. So after this, I'm going to be like hitting you up. You're going to see all my stuff.
Perfect. I know. I need to do the same.
I can't wait to tell people about you, because I just feel like, I follow some people like you, but I just feel like you have such a good vibe, and I think people are going to just like be obsessed with you. So I'm excited.
In the room at one of your first like live teachings or conventions is going to be like, you're going to be bouncing off the walls. It's going to be amazing.
I know.
Exciting. So fun.
Yay.
Well, I know that the Red Bra Project closes every interview with a quote, and so I actually picked a quote from your website, which I loved, and it is "Evolve unapologetically, live loudly, and dance ruthlessly," which I love. Yeah. So I'm going to just put that up on my bulletin board right here.
I know. It's just so, to think about that, it kind of makes all of the stress fade away, and just to think about having that fun element. And I love that. And Tanci, you really are just so gifted, and we cannot wait to keep following you. I see that you're coming to Nashville. I'm in Tennessee quite a bit. So I would love to, if I can make it work, pop in and meet you. Shauna and I always joke we're going to have a big Red Bra party at some point. So just like you put it out in the universe, you got to put those good things out there. So we're going to make sure to hook everything up with where people can find you and follow you and hopefully meet you live. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so special.
Yeah, thanks for having me too. This is fun.
You should. And Lindsay, thank you for co-hosting. You were awesome. And to all of our viewers out there in
natural.
Thank you.
Would never have known,
So thank you guys all for joining. If you hear this story and you know somebody who it would resonate with, or who could really, need hearing it today, please share it with them. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything happens over at the Red Bra Project, where we're going to highlight everything about Tanci and where to find her. But we love you guys. We appreciate you. And remember, your story matters. So if you have someone that you want to recommend, we feature women from all over the globe, all different sizes and shapes of stories. So thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. Have a great night.